Hey, brother, old gatekeeper here, about 5:30 in the morning. Here's your very neat 1x8. I still gotta say, man, I love this box, dude. I'm guessing that you put a clear coat on this thing, but I love this box, little homebrew box. I'm going to send some pictures of it to my current box builder that's working on building boxes for me, just so you can take a look at it. He's doing a lot of welding too, but I like the way the top goes on it. He's been putting lips on his, that the top connects to, but I need to get him a better bender so he can bend like this. Well, anyway, man, I want to do a quick video at least, man. I really wish you had time to let me work on this thing and everything, because I honestly just think it needs a tune done to it. Because once you change the combiners and everything, man, it's going to throw the tune off. Once you change the wraps on the combiners and stuff like that, it's going to change the tune. So, but it right now, it's just not tuned correctly, and you can easily see that by this right here. Let's turn it on. 1,000-watt slug. It looks a little foggy. I don't know if my camera's foggy or not. I don't see. There's a dead key. See, I was getting almost about there, about 200 bird. Oh dear. Oh. Input reflect. Right there at a watt. So it's keying like 200 watts and swinging back. And I've only got it on some batteries down here on like 12 volts. If it was a higher voltage, it would be dead keying higher and swinging back more. Oh. I like that mesh that you use too, man. That's really neat. If you could get me some of that stuff, man, I'd love to buy some from you. I like that. Another thing that's really cool, man, is these boards. Did you etch these boards out yourself? Or are these some pre-made boards from somewhere else? Some 4-pill boards that you put together? That's another question I was wanting to ask you. Those are pretty cool. Those are pretty cool, man. I like that. Well, anyway, I was just going to point out a few things, some pointers for you. You might want to follow if you like. A lot of coax in this box. One big thing is to make sure that all your coax that are going to combiners and stuff like that, just to make sure that they're all the same length. You might want to, in the future, use some Teflon coax, some RG316 or something like that. It's a little easier to work with in a sense. You ain't got to really worry about the heat and all that, and you're less likely to mess up on it, and this and that. That's just kind of like the standard that most of everybody uses, is Teflon coax inside of boxes like this. But The wraps look fine on the transformers. It looks like they're a 4 and a 4. That's what I would go with on a 4-pill, 454 box. I would go with 680s on the output transformers. Looks like you get 620s. You know, that's pretty close. And my personal experience is I haven't needed any input transformers, input capacitors on the transformers. The match is so close to being where it needs to be for the transformation on the input. You can play around with it if you want to. You can simply take these off, see if it makes a change to your standing wave on the input. Your output tuning caps, or I would go bigger on these. I'd go with a brass tuner, or something like this. Oh, something big like an N1500, big capacitor like that. Maybe 2 of them to equal a value that you need them equal to. Because this is an 8-pill. I know it's not 2879 8-pill, but it is an 8-pill. And there should be no reason at all that you wouldn't be able to get this 8-pill up to 600 bird, man. Should be no really reason at all it shouldn't be able to get up to it. But you said you had it up to about 400 bird one time. I mean, that's cool. That's good. And let's see. I'm kind of going freestyle this. I looked at it, you know, a while ago. Let me look in here. Like I said, the combiners look great. I mean, if you were worried about something with the combiners, if you wanted to, I just know that the last Motorola box I did. Oh yeah, I'm seeing 120s on the pill strips here. You can go with 120s if you want to. You could try 130s also. I mean 330s, excuse me, 330s. 330s were used a lot with Motorola's back in the days. With the last Motorola box I did, that was ranking in about 600 bird, and it was only a 1x4. Those are 421s though. I just went with the normal 1/2-inch bead, and did a 2 and 2. Yeah, a 2 and 2 wrap on it, and it worked out great. But yeah, these are going to change your tune, man, because any wrap you add to a ferrite bead is going to change the inductance. And see what you're trying to do right here is you're supposed to have, well, it's not going to be because you don't have a capacitance, but in theoretically, a 50 ohm signal that's now being paralleled down to around a 25 ohm signal in a sense. Okay, so now you're needing to bring all these up, all 4 of these 25, and then they're going to be paralleled and go to sub ohm. But now you're needing to convert that back to 50 ohms before it hits this coax. That's what this is doing, and this is doing in conjunction with each other. So you're trying to get that to 50 ohms right here at the source before it even hits the relay, before it goes out of the box. And let's see here. Yeah, I just think it needs a retune, man. Not too sure about the 1446 section on this, dude. I personally would go with a 4 wrap on the input transformer, 3 wrap on the output. Add that other 1446 in here. And you can just drop this capacitor right here on the input and take it off. What size is that anyway? 390. I used to build them with 390s on there. I took them off, and I just don't see any difference at all, to be honest with you. You can leave it on there if you want to. It's up to you. But I like that can circuit, man. That big 3055. Looks like a 3055. I can't see it from this angle. Excuse me. Really cool, man. Cool little box. Like, for example, this coax right here that's going to this splitter. Both of these coaxes need to make sure to be identical lengths. And I can look at it and tell that they're not. I'm guessing, but just from looking at it, it doesn't look like they are. That can throw off a tune. See, this is all, radio waves don't travel at the speed of light through coax, velocity factor and all that. It has a lot to do when you're trying to tune, because you want both of these 4-pill sections to be identical to each other as much as possible. Then wire length and everything, man. If it was me, you don't have to do this, but if it was me, I would take your grounds on your transformers and wrap them back towards the ground plane of this board right here. So bring it like right here. If you have enough room to do it. It's not really a big deal, ain't a must or nothing. It's more of a preference to me. There's some big old filter caps right here. It's pretty cool. Probably some 10,000s, ain't they? I can't even see right now. But yeah, man, this just needs to be retuned, man. Needs a good tune put on it. Oh, where's your chuck? Oh, I see you got inductors on it. I have no idea what the inductance is on these. This needs to be pulled to ground. So this is a Class C. I'm not sure what inductance that is. If you're not either, as long as you know that's okay, that's a proper inductance, you could roll with that. But if you're not sure, I'd take it off and use some 43. See, 43 has a higher permeability. If you use 61, I throw like 3 wraps, man, like 22 gauge on 61. You can go with 3 wraps on 43. 43's got a lot higher permeability. Put that to ground there. You got some 18 ohms there from base to ground. That's fine, but I use 10 ohms. But, it ain't no big deal. Ain't gonna have nothing to do with your watch, really, man. Let's see. 120s. That looks like that's about it, man. It looks real cool build. I would throw some ferrite beads. Right now, you have no ferrite beads on the power wires at all. Like, there's absolutely nothing at all keeping the RF from going back down this power line into your house or into your vehicle or anything like that. That's why we put chokes on here. See, really, it's supposed to be, the inductor is supposed to be hitting around 500 ohms of the lowest frequency that you're going to be using. So, if you want to get technical, you'd go like, down to channel 1 or whatever and do the formula. But You know, most everybody will just throw 3 wraps or whatever on this. You know, I did the B plus, you know, just to give a little extra. To me, it stays a little cooler that way when I'm running it like that. But you've got them soldered down to the hot bus, I see, you know, which you know, it's all up to you, man. Well, I mean, a lot of people do that design. I've even done it before too. Just need to get some ferrite at least on this hot wire right here, bud. And I'll tell you something else that may help you too. This right here is paper thin, man. Paper thin. So this current is needing to flow through this down here. This section right here is going to be pulling more of the current than this one right here, because the DC power has to travel down. The amperage has to travel down paper thin surface to get down here. So I know you probably don't want to have wires going all over the place. I mean, I understand that with this type of design. But that's why you see a lot of us coming in with multiple small wires, you know, like this could be like 4 10-gauge wires, you know, hitting it, you know, dropping one right here or right here. If it was me, I would probably try to come in with 2 8-gauges or something and try to drop that 8-gauge right here in the middle, so they're kind of equally. You come around, your power wires don't have to be the same length, okay? It's fine on your DC power wires, they can be different lengths. Drop other them right there, but bad thing about it is going to be going over your RF, but it's just a type of design. What I like to do during times like this is just thicken it up with solder. You know, pull these wires up or whatever and just thicken it up real well with solder. Maybe take you a solid piece of copper or some 14-gauge wire or something and lay a hot strip. We like to call them little current strips or whatever. A piece of wire down each strip. All this stuff you probably already know, man. You know, I'm just kind of going through and sharing it with you. I see you got a tuning strip right here for the input of this. The input's out of tune. As you see, it's about a 1 watt. And I know you'll see a lot of other builders showing that is acceptable. But it's best to get it down as low as you possibly can, because think about it. I'm putting 4 watts RMS into this box just then. 4 watts RMS. 1 watt out of that 4 is not making it in the box. Now imagine if I could make that watt go into the box, or at least most of it go into the box. Your output is going to raise up dramatically. 1 watt. You know, it's taking pretty much 3 watts to make 200 bird dead key right here. See what I'm saying? So, the driver section just needs to be retuned, man. And, you know, I'll just tell you real quick, you may already know. You know, unhook this driver section away from the 8-pill. Which is kind of hard to do. You're sharing you're sharing a tune right here. Okay. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you're damn good, know what you're doing. This tune is tuning the output of this and the input of the 8-pill. If this was me, I would break this up. I ain't saying you got to, but if it was me, I would break this up. Put me another. You see how you got a pad right there? I'd put me another pad right here. Bring this wire over here. Tune it and bring it back over there. Isolate the 1-pill section away from the 8. Run your wire over here to the relay. You know, you already got the wire going here. Tune the driver section individually. Then isolate the driver section, hook up the 8-pill by itself using 100 ohm wire to it. That's all you can do right here. Well, if you got coax going and everything, you can use a piece of coax if you want to. It's up to you. Then tune the 8-pill section. See what I'm saying? A lot of builders would hang me up on a wall for even sharing that kind of stuff, but hey, boy, it change your life, man. I'll tell you that. It will change your life. Doing that 8-pill section individually. See, because the problem is this right here. When you got it set up like this right here, man, you cannot see the input reflect. You can't see the mismatch in front of the 8 and on the output of the 2. How can I see that on my meter? I can't. It's impossible. I won't be able to see that. I'm only going to be able to see the mismatch from the driver section on my meter. That's all I can see. So I cannot see no mismatch from here. But if I break it up in single sections and tune it like that, I can see the mismatch. And I can get it tuned. When I put it back together, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be rocking and ready to go. Every once in a while, I might have to do a little adjustment. But most of the time, no, it's good to go. Alright, bud. I really hate I can't work on this thing, man. Whew! This thing is cool, man. I want to know where them boards come from, man. Alright. Another thing is I cannot remember if this thing had screws on it when you sent it to me. Because it sure does not have screws on it now. So, I might try to find some screws, but I kind of looked for some earlier and I didn't see any laying around the box, so... But I am pretty good at losing screws, man. But I'm sure you got some laying around that you can throw on there, man. I'm sure you won't hate me for it. Alright, I'll go ahead and get this uploaded. Like them string release too, man. I know where them came from. And I love too this the way this is set up with the heat sink back here. With its opening on the box right here. It's really cool, man. I like that. That air's flowing through there real good, too. It's really cool, man. Alright, bud. I hate that I couldn't work on it for you, man, but I know time is of the essence, and you are a builder yourself. I always do enjoy to work on other people's stuff, builders or upcoming builders or whatever. Because I know, that's what I had to do too when I first started, man. Even though I didn't have a lot of good luck with who I was getting to use me, but it did somehow get me to one level to the next, no doubt about it. But this is the first box that I'm having to send back without actually being able to work on. But it is a different situation. It ain't like you're sending this over for a repair or something, This is something that you put together. And you just kind of run out of time and need it back, which I understand, man. I'm just stacked up over here, dude. You saw all them repairs over there in the video. That's just one thing, man. I've got a whole nother thing over there, and then I've got one inside that's twice as big. I start filtering them in from inside out here is what I do, So yours was coming up pretty soon, or it wouldn't be out here. You know what I'm saying? So everything out here is coming up. I filter them out like that. All right, man. I'm gone. Bye bye.